What's going on, everyone? So, the Los Angeles Lakers could use youth, athleticism, two-way defensive capabilities, particularly at that like 2 through 3 spot. Somebody that could slot in and be your starting three, but also could play multiple positions, defend multiple positions, ideally 1 through 3 for you. We have had several names on the market from Andrew Wiggins to Matisse Thybulle. I've thrown out a couple names that I'd love to see, like a Miles Bridges, and could you go get RJ Barrett or something like that, right? Like just get you a guy that can come in, play a role, be a clear upgrade at the starting 3 spot. That kind of seems to be the one glaring hole for the Lakers that they need to address, and hopefully they will be able to address either this offseason, which we still have, about a month before training camp, or around the trade deadline. A lot of talks about the Lakers kind of going into the season as is, that they want to see like Gabe Vincent, Max Kleba, and some other guys. But look, Rob has even said, like, if a deal's there and there's something there, he's going to take it, right? Like, he has championship expectations. He wants to win. Luka, LeBron want to win. If the right trade and the right move is there, I fully expect Rob Pelinka to take it. But Sports Illustrated, particularly Hornets on Sports Illustrated. So Sports Illustrated has all their different teams and stuff. The Charlotte Hornets. So it's not like a Lakers source. It's not like this is coming from the Charlotte Hornets side of things. Report from Charlotte. I want to be clear about that because, again, people are always like, of course you think this. But according to Charlotte, the Lakers, that they actually are like predicting and suggesting that Charlotte and the Lakers trade for Josh Green, who is somebody that I would love to have. My ideal guy from the Hornets is Miles Bridges. I really want Miles Bridges. And a lot of the reasons, and I'll get into that here in a moment, a lot of the reasons why the Charlotte Hornets think that this will happen is part of the reasons why I think Miles Bridges would happen. So the Sports Illustrated article, the trade, I don't see happening, right? Now, what they're proposing, again, from Sports Illustrated, if Peterson is high on Thero, they want to trade for a dude Thero. A trade sending, and again, this is their proposal, a trade sending Josh Green and 2 seconds. I don't hate the idea of adding 2 seconds. So they're saying Josh Green and 2 second-round picks for Vincent and Adu Thero might just be the deal that benefits everybody. I'm not going to lie. That is pretty fair. Considering most are like, Gabe Vincent, Adu Thero, and a first for this guy. Like usually, when you kind of get the reports from a specific team, usually they're like, we're blessing them with Josh Green, right? I do think is fair. They're saying you're getting Josh Green, who is, by the way, very young still. He's 24 years old. He'll be 25 in November, so he's still young. He's a piece that could be there long-term, ideal kind of 3-and-D guard that can slot in right next to Luka. He's that 6'5" type of guy with the wingspan, all of that stuff, right? So you're getting a young player in Josh Green who could be a long-term answer for you on top of 2 second-round picks that you could use for trade or you could use for whatever, right? You could draft them however you want to approach that, right? Josh Green, get another 6'5" guy, 6'10" wingspan, defend 1 through 3 for you. I love the idea of adding Josh Green. I just don't think the Lakers can trade a dude there. He's basically the only guy that they got that is that mold, that like 6'7", versatile, can defend 1 through 4 for you, hyper athletic. Like Lakers need an Adu Thero type of guy more than they need that 6'5" with the 6'10" wingspan guy. Right? Adu Thero's 6'7" with a 7-foot wingspan and a 41-inch vertical. I love Josh Green. If you could land Josh Green, I'd be all over Josh Green. And Charlotte's whole thing is like, Josh Green is more proven now. Where Lakers get, I get the proposal. I actually think it's a fair proposal. I just don't think the Lakers can afford to give up an Adu Thero. Now, maybe with Prosper being available now, maybe that's kind of how they look at it. We go and get Prosper, right? Because Charlotte's whole thing in the article, and you can even read the article, it says like that they wouldn't be able to do just Gabe Vincent for Josh Green, because the idea was like, get Gabe Vincent, get a veteran in the room, get a guy that has experience. They could kind of use some help in that playmaking guard role, especially with LaMelo Ball and all that stuff, right? The problem is like Josh Green, they just have several guys now that can all play that 2-3 role. And so Josh Green, it's like, where are you going to find minutes from? It's all the same reasons that, you know, when I've made videos in the past of Miles Bridges, I've talked about, like, I really think Miles Bridges makes sense because he's kind of the odd man out there. They have so many other guys that they're trying to grow, develop, that can fill in and play that role. It's the same logic with Josh Green. And their whole thing was, we can't do a Josh Green for Gabe Vincent swap and maybe the Lakers throw in like a second or something like that. And now, because of Kneppel and all these other guys, they don't really need a Dalton Connect anymore. So it's not like, oh, hey, let's just do Gabe Vincent and Dalton Connect. The only guy that makes sense would be a Dude Thero. So again, it's not one of those things where I'm like, the audacity of these guys. Like, no, it's a fair trade. Like, they're even saying, like, hey, we'll give you seconds in order to get a Dude Thero and stuff like that, because he's a guy that just makes more sense for them. He's younger. They can kind of work him out and stuff. It's just, the Sports Illustrated article is basically saying, like, there's no other path unless you get a third team involved or whatever, like, for them to just do a trade, but we're willing to you know, concede some picks in order to make that make sense, which might make, you know, maybe the Lakers would like that, especially if you can land a Prosper, or if Arthur Kaluma looks really good for them. Maybe they're like, we got Prosper, we got Kaluma, bringing in a guy in Josh Green to slot in now, which was Charlotte State. It's like, you're getting a guy that's more proven now for a team that's trying to win now, where Charlotte is you know, they're still trying to figure it all out. Right, so a Dude Thero makes more sense for them because they're trying to figure stuff out, and then a Josh Green who's more proven, familiarity with Luka, all of that stuff, right? Like, all of the like, this was a very, in my opinion, a very well thought out article, right? Usually you get them and it's like, we want, you know, we'll give you Josh Green for Gabe Vincent and 15 first, and the reason is like, it's usually all over the place. I actually thought that this was a very fair proposal, very fair idea. I just don't think the Lakers can lose Thero. I just think Thero, and it's not even necessarily him becoming a superstar or anything like that. Right? Like, look, I don't want to put him in a box, right? Like, maybe he does develop into a superstar. Again, I don't want to limit Thero at all, right? I want to be very clear about that. But it's not even about him being a superstar. It's just, he's the exact type of player and mold that the Lakers need now and the future alongside Luka Doncic. Like, I do think a Dude Thero can come and make an impact today, not to the two-way capabilities that a Josh Green can have, but I do think a Dude Thero he's just bigger, more athletic, longer, everything. I just don't think the Lakers could do that. Now, if the Lakers had another trade idea in mind and needed those 2 seconds, right? Like, let's say, or if you could expand the trade, right? Say you could work something out to where you get Bridges and you get Josh Green. Now I'd be willing to give up Thero, because you're getting essentially a guy that could slot. I mean, literally, you could start both of those guys next to Luka, LeBron, and DeAndre Ayton. And then Miles Bridges could slot into either the 3 or the 4 spot for you. Miles Bridges is probably the best player on that team, not named LeBron and Luka. So, and then even when LeBron rides off in the sunset, you could just slide Miles Bridges down to the 4 if you wanted to, or, you know, get a bigger 4 or whatever, right? So, like, if the Lakers could get another wing in the trade, like, hey, keep your seconds, let's work something out to get Miles Bridges. We'll even give you, you know, some pick swap. I'd give up the first. But point is, like, if you could expand the trade enough to where you're getting, you know, Josh Green, because it's like, well, hey, you're getting Thero, who's a younger kind of, you know, guy that you can grow and develop at the wing. You already have several other guys that are going to slot in and play the wing position. Like, you know, give us Miles Bridges. Like, Miles Bridges makes sense for us, and it's a win-win for all sides. We get Bridges, they get, you know, and Josh Green, they get, you know, Rui, Gabe Vincent. So they're clearing salary, they're getting assets, they're getting everything else that they need, right? And Rui probably better suited at the 4, so you can slot Rui in at his natural position of the 4, which opens up and frees up the 2-3 spot for them. So I do think something like that, where you could expand this trade, could make more sense either way. I think now it's kind of more of a win-win for all sides, all parties involved. That's something that I really look for the Lakers to potentially pursue and maybe get done. But I want to go over Josh Green and his stats here a little bit, kind of explain what he could provide for a team. And it does help that, him being on Dallas for several years, familiarity with Luka, familiarity playing off of Luka, so on and so forth. I do think that, he could be very beneficial. But last season, 68 games played for the Charlotte Hornets, 27.8 minutes per game, which was actually the most minutes of his career. Averaged 6.2 field goal attempts per game, which was actually down from Dallas, where he averaged 6.6 and 6.4. So most minutes, but fewest usage and field goal attempts per game. 42.8% from the field, which is the lowest of his career. 3-point shooting, however, on 3.6 attempts, which is the most attempts of his career, as well as the him shooting 39.1% from three-point range, which is the second best rate of his career. He did have a season 2022-2023 where he shot 40.2%, but on 2.8 attempts. So again, shot 3.6 attempts, so nearly a full attempt more, and still maintained 39% from three-point range. He is a career 38% three-point guy on 2.5 attempts. But two-point range, 48% on 2.5 attempts, which is the fewest, or second fewest of his career, but fewest since his rookie season. And so that could be something to keep in mind. 54.3% from the floor. Free throw shooting, not a great free throw shooter, surprisingly. He was 68.1% from the free throw line last year on 1.1 attempts. To be fair, he doesn't have a huge sample size. He's only, for his career, averaged 1 free throw attempt per game, and he's 68.7%, so 69%. So he's under 70% for such a good three-point shooter. But that's because he's primarily taking threes. So unless you're knocking down the free throws consistently. But rebounding, 2.5 rebounds, which is actually down from the last 2 years, which he averaged 2.3 and then, 3.2 and then 3. And then the 2.3 was the assist. His assists were down, where he was 1.6 last year compared to 2.3 the previous year. But he averaged 1 steal, which he's basically a steal a game kind of guy for his career, half a block and 7.4 points, which again is down from the last 2 years, which he was 8.2 and 9.1. So again, kind of things to kind of keep in mind with him. But again, if you can pull it off, if you can make it happen, I'm all for it. I won't complain about landing a Josh Green, especially get some assets. I just don't think the Lakers give up a dude there. And it's not something where I'm like, he's the best, he's going to be the best player in the league. I just think he's more of a necessity for the Lakers' size, athleticism, wingspan, all of that. I just think he's somebody more, and I think he'll be a better player than Josh Green. But that's also why Charlotte's willing to give up picks. So just something to keep in mind. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, pass question you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.